one announcement before I get started. Make sure and check your mail in the black file cabinet. There's lots of mail here, so get your stuff and take it with you. We don't want it. It fills up. Maya hates it, so make sure and do that. And number two, it's warm in here. We have zero control over this. It's all controlled from downstairs, and sometimes it's freezing cold in here and sometimes it's hot. We just never know. So I wish we could help you, but we can't. It just is what it is. We'll try and warn you from now on to wear shorts or to bundle up based on how it's feeling. All right, on we go. As always, we start with needs and wants. If you have listings, buyers, needs, rentals needed, referrals somewhere, anything like that, and I'll hand you the mic, which you can't tell you're using, but it does help for online. All right, nobody's got listings or buyers. I guess we'll just stop team meeting right now and go home.
This is very strange. Okay, so I have.
And this is Shelly Jameson talking.
Yes, I have two listings. One in Santaquin. It's 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, a newer home, and it's under 500, so 490. Has a yard, fenced yard, 2-car garage. And then I have one that I just listed yesterday. It's 6 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. Has a full mother-in-law suite in the basement, so a kitchen and everything. So 2-bedroom, 1 bath down there with washer dryer hookups. It's like a 3-car garage because one of the garages is tandem. It goes back further. So you can either store your junk or throw something back there. And that one is listed at 619 in Spanish Fork. So.
Thank you.
It's Eric, and I've got a listing in Eagle Mountain, 5-bedroom home, 3.5 baths. It's an edge home. It's only 4 years old. It has lots and lots of upgrades. And unfortunately, unfinished basement, but it is studded in. And very nice backyard, and the whole yard is fenced in.
Awesome.
It's listed at $749.
Okay.
I have a listing in Harriman.
And you are who?
Oh, I'm Lisa Flutie. Hello, everyone. Listing in Harriman. It's a cute little townhome. I think it's right at 500,000. It's 4 bedrooms, I should know this like right away. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's super cute. Has a pool. That's fun. I hear. And then what else do I have? Hold on, let me think. Oh, I just took Do Not Call My Sellers in American Fork. They just canceled their home, but they are open to showing it to anyone who has a buyer broker agreement and who's pre-qualified. The wife needs to have surgery, so they just don't want it on the open market. But please don't call them and ask them to list it with you.
It's one of my very favorite things to hear or see on the MLS. And so everybody who wants that number, just let me know. I'm happy to hand it out. It's like the best place to call is the people who say don't call them.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. And then I am getting a listing in Syracuse. It needs a little bit of work, but it's in a great neighborhood. I think there's a temple up there, and it's near that temple. Super cute, 5 bedrooms, 3 full baths. It just needs a little bit of TLC. If it's as is, they're willing to go around 525. But if they put money into it, we'll be listing it around 6. So that'll be great. And I'll be using Make It Market Ready, possibly. So I may have some feedback on that company.
So just to be really clear, you did not put on the MLS or anywhere else anything about it being near some kind of a temple.
No.
Okay.
I don't even know if the building is a temple. It's white and
I just want to make
big.
sure we're not violating fair housing here.
What? Yeah, what Shelly says.
So you can't do that either, because it has to do with religion, and anything to do with religion you can't include in there. You just can't. So it's a big red flag.
With a trumpet.
If you look at it, so when you're doing your listing, there's a little button that nobody ever sees that has fair housing words. And if you click it, one of the words is temple. Just so.
Can you say this is an agnostic neighborhood?
I don't
An
Hold on.
agnostic neighborhood or
I
something?
don't
he
know
said?
why we have such crappy.
Oh, not.
I've got to fix the online.
And I feel like I have something else, but I can't think of it right now.
Oh, man. How come we got Don on here? Who allowed that?
You forgot to block me.
I'm muting you right now. Just kidding. All right, now I can reshare and now we can hear you guys. Sorry. All right, Don, can you see our screen okay?
I can see the screen just fine. Yes.
Thank you. And now we can hear you all.
Okay.
All right.
I said, can't she put on there, this is a Baptist neighborhood? No,
What? Why? That's not allowed?
no.
Oh, how about like, this is a neighborhood where no kids are allowed? Schools are okay because education is not a protected class. Bob, you've got one, and then I'll
Yes.
go back to Wade. So that's different.
Yep.
Yeah, 55
Okay.
and plus is not a thing. You're allowed to do it, and I don't know why.
So this is Bob Casper. I have two listings, one in Spanish Fork. It's a townhouse in Somerset Village. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and 10,000 in closing costs. And it's 349.9. And then also I have a condo up in Saratoga, brand new, only a year old, 334.9. 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
Let's back to Wade. Oh, go ahead. Tim's gonna go next.
Yes,
You're last on the totem pole back there. When you sit in the back, you get nothing.
I've got a listing in Saratoga Springs. It's in the much sought after Wildflower neighborhood. It's 2 years old, 3,400 square feet. They just reduced the price to $625, 4 bedrooms, immaculate. Encourage you to take a look at it.
All right, Wade, we'll let you go now.
Okay, thanks. I've got a villa listed up in Midway in the Zermatt complex. It's a 2-bedroom unit. So the main body of the unit has the kitchen, living room, and the primary suite and primary bathroom. And then there's a lock off to the second bedroom, which is set up as looks like a double queen hotel room. It's got the bathroom, the queen beds, TV, desk and all of that kind of thing. So they can be rented, used together or separate. So you can put that into the rental pool at Zermatt. And while you're not using it personally or your clients are not using it personally, they can let Zermatt put that into the rental pool and rent that out as one unit or separate units. And then you can also self-manage your own property there or have a outside property management company manage it for you as well. So you could do an Airbnb type of scenario in that complex. But great facilities, great pool, restaurants, all kinds of extra amenities. So if you've got somebody looking for a second property, this one's listed at $439. Yeah, it's great. It's a top floor. Yeah, you own it. You could live, actually, you could live there. You could just move in and live in it if you wanted. Yeah. But you could also, and I suppose if you wanted to, buy it, the current owners actually own it together with two, there's 4 owners of it, but they're family. They all kind of went in, pooled their money, went in and bought it. So a little bit different than a fractional ownership, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's way worse than fractional. Family fractional is like the worst case ever, honestly. Anybody else? Oh, you got another one?
Oh, I just had a question going
Yeah.
just really quick back to the our previous conversation real quick. A lot of times I'll put into my descriptions, hey, this property is close to parks, recreation, schools, banks, restaurants, churches. Can I use churches in that scenario? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, because we're not discriminating against
Right,
any
took the
certain
one.
kind
That's
of,
what I.
we're not discriminating against any certain kind of church.
Okay.
So. Anybody else? Okay, and while we're at it, oh, anybody online? I'll take that as no. All right, so while we're on fair housing, just so you know, NAR updated their requirements, and we're now in this 3-year cycle that just started in January, not only are you required to take the NAR Code of Ethics class, 3 hours, but you now have to take a 2-hour course for fair housing every 3 years, once every 3 years. So just be aware, it's not a state requirement, so it's not required for licensing. It's only required for your NAR membership, whatever that's currently worth. So, all right. Yes.
This just might be something that would apply to a lot of us. Oh, something that would apply to a lot of us. I don't think you can hear me any better.
They can.
Oh, they can. I got you. I'm like, I don't think you. Okay. I think a lot of us have our businesses set up in an LLC or S Corp, that type of thing. And I know last year there was a lot of talk about having to declare, fill out some type of a form, I think a DOI or
BOI.
BOI. Yes. And then at the end of the year, my accountant said, no, don't worry about it. They're disputing this. There's a lot of litigation about it. So just hold off. But this morning I saw a post that was saying something about that it's back on and there's a deadline of from February 19th to sometime in March. Is that legit?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
true?
currently the case. Check with your accountants just to make sure what you need to do and when, but there is a requirement to file. So
Okay.
yes.
I didn't know if that was just somebody fooling around or if that was
No,
true.
currently that's still the case. So currently we still do have to file if you own an LLC or an S Corp. You have to file. If you've already filed that form, you're still good. Yeah, that still counts. It's still good. If you hadn't filed because you heard that there was some lawsuit pending, then now's the time to check with your accountant and make sure what you need to do. Okay. All right. So before we move to some other stuff, this is the #1 most asked question that I get right now, all the time. Okay. And that is, what do I need to do to succeed? Right? I get agents in my office all the time. Hey, the market's slow. What do I need to do to succeed? How can I improve my business? How can I get more listings? How can I get more buyers? And so I'm going to run this for you. And it's super loud, apparently. Wow. Why is the volume so terrible?
Put the microphone there, then the people at home can hear it.
They can hear it just fine. It's us that can't hear it, which is the awesome part. No. All right. So you're going to get this in an email. No, it's running. It's because it's running out of the Mac Mini behind. Okay. I'm not going to fix it. In any case, this is what that's about, right? If you want to have more business, you need to have more conversations, right? And if you have more conversations, you need to set more appointments. You basically just need to do the work, right? And so I can help you and figure out what you're doing and not doing and how to maybe have more conversations and those kind of things. But in the end, the agents that are successful, and you'll see some numbers here about successful agents, the agents that are successful are the ones having the conversations. They're creating conversations with people, talking about real estate. And in the end, those are the ones doing the work. So really evaluate where you're at. There's plenty of business out there, right? We're going to talk about the market and where we're at and kind of have a discussion about what kind of a market we're really in. But there's enough business out there. There were 2,500 homes sold in Utah last month in January, one of the slowest months we've ever had, right? But that's still 2,500 homes. No one agent is going to be able to take all of those, right?
Okay. Just saying, if you're having.
Yeah, give Lisa a challenge. She'll always take it. So there's plenty of work if you do the work. On a more solemn note, before we move forward, most of you heard about the passing of our broker down in St. George. So Jamie passed away this last Sunday, just out of the blue, really. Kind of a crazy story. And if you want some details, I'm happy to share. But in any case, just wanted to make you all aware that this Saturday will be her celebration of life. It'll be down St. George from 6 to 8 o'clock. We'll be emailing this out to all of you so that you've got it. But if you want to attend, there it is. I've tried to get some information. Some of you have asked about a GoFundMe or other ways to donate. At this point, I don't have that information. Hope to get it to you soon. So we'll get this all out to you as soon as possible. All right. Our in-house partners are here today, Veris Title and Encompass Lending. Veris is going to speak further down the road in a minute because I've got some stuff I want them to cover. But let's give Jason a minute. If you'll grab that mic, Jason, and you can tell us whatever you want for a second.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason. I actually in Dawn's office 3 times a week, but I'm more than happy to come up here and meet with you guys or your clients if you need be. I've been in the industry for 30 years. I'm just want to help you guys be successful. So if you guys want to brainstorm some marketing ideas or ways to drum up some more leads, reach out to me. A lot of you I've talked to, but some of you I haven't yet. So if you want to reach out to me after, grab my card or anything else, but I really want you guys to be successful. So whatever your goal is for 2025, use me. Let me help you grow your business. There's a lot of stuff I can do, but I'll kind of take that one-on-one with you. But yeah. Oh. Thanks, Todd. Yes. Yes. So I'm here for you guys. Just let me know if you need anything from me. I'd be happy to, just a free quote for your clients, even if they've got pre-approved somewhere else, just to kind of see, at least I can reiterate and strengthen, their peace of mind that they got a good deal. I'm not going to be able to do 100% of the deals. I've been in this industry long enough to realize that, but, it's a great way for your clients to know that, whatever they've got, they're saving some money, because that's the name of the game. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. And don't forget, Encompass offers $1,000 credit for your clients on their closings for your first 5 people that you take there. And I would guess if you took number 6, we would find a way to get them $1,000. So
100%. In fact, the credits that I give tend to be slightly more than that, because I also try to use some of my own stuff to buy down the rate a little bit if I can, or something like that, to be pretty competitive in that sense. So yeah, $1,000 is the incentive, but I will make sure your clients are taken care of for you all the time.
And Jason's super responsive, always on the ball. I can text or call him day or night. He's always there, has the answers. So don't hesitate to reach out to him. Great lender. Really appreciate having Jason and Encompass with us. All right. We prefaced this last month because my special guest, Lisa Flutie, totally flaked on me last month and just decided she wanted to show a property instead of being here. So I don't know what the heck that was all about. But we talked about, one of the things that I often do is just ask you, what's going on? How can I help you? How can I support you? One of the things I asked was, what's your biggest fear? What's holding you back from being as successful as you could be in the industry? And Lisa reached out and said, hey, my biggest problem is rejection. I have an issue with rejection. And so I Amazoned her this book and told her to read it, and then asked her to do the rejection challenge. And I'm going to give her just a minute to talk about that challenge and how it went and what she thought about it. So Lisa, the time's yours.
Take more than a minute.
You can have 2.5.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Kate.
Even asking him for more than a minute is part of this challenge.
So grab that mic and then stand up here.
Okay. So I was a pharmacist for 30 years and people sought me out to help them solve their problems. So now I'm in this business where I have to go and introduce myself, get to know you, and find out what your problems are and help you. So I have a problem with rejection because I was never rejected for 30 years. People liked me. I gave them their Oxys and their Xanax. I was the good friend at the pharmacy. Okay. So the rejection challenge. Here are some of my examples, and they're really small.
So what is the rejection challenge?
Oh,
What
the
did you have to do?
rejection challenge is this guy who wanted to start his own business. He was just in the grind of working for someone else. And his wife said, I'm giving you 100 days to go out and get rejected. So he started this business. He got rejected. He thought he was a failure. And then she said, no, go 100 days and get rejected. And he realized sometimes it's how you're asking the question, or sometimes you're not quite on the pulse of what the person is willing or able to do. And you just got to kind of tweak it a little bit. And it was kind of fun. Like a lot of the stuff went viral. So, but mine wasn't this exciting, but I did it. I asked a seller to meet and talk about me listing his business property. And he told me he had an agent, but I just kept calling him. Now we're gonna like put his home on the market. That was huge for me. I just kept calling him and asking him different things like, how's Christmas? You have any plans? Are you gonna see your grandkids? Like literally, I just kept calling this dude. Okay. I asked at Summit, which was so much fun. Go next year. There's some gamblers in our group. They're right there. He's sitting right there with that Fathom jersey on. I asked at Summit if I can read the names of the recipients who won awards. They said no. I got rejected. I asked at Chick-fil-A if when I bought my soda, I got up to the line and then I was hungry and I asked if I can have a free fruit cup and they said yes and I got it. Okay. I asked at Michael's if they would do some framing little things for me for free at no cost, and they said yes. I asked Les Schwab if they would send their mobile unit and come and fix my client's flat tire. We were looking at homes, and they came and they didn't charge them. It's a $50 charge unless you go and get a tire from them. I asked a former coworker if she knew an HR employee. This is a really long story, and she ghosted me, so I got rejected from her. I asked my friend's husband if he will donate free Cafe Rio to my coworkers in the pharmacy, because I work at the U now 2 days a week, so I can like spread my word about real estate. And he said, yeah, and he did a total catering event for me free. My tenant, it belongs with the Utah Hockey Club, and he is signing stuff. There's a bunch of pucks back there for Maya. He's signing a whole bunch of stuff for her, so I asked him to do that. And then I text a friend to read a history article about the importance of something, and she blocked me and said no, she doesn't agree with Trump. That was a big political thing. And then here's the best. I am selling my triplex. Listen to this story, because don't blab your mouth, people. I'm selling my triplex. The agent on the other side told me what the buyers are going to do with the triplex. I was asking 1.2 million. She told me what they're going to do. They're opening up a drug rehab. I know from being a pharmacist that is cha-ching. They gave me a full price offer. I said, no, in order for me to sell it, I need 1.6 million. And I'm getting it almost. I'm 60,000 off. So number one, do not blab your stuff. And number two, don't be afraid when you get a full price offer that you reconsider and you want something different. Just ask. Okay. Secondly, on the property on 1031 in exchange, it's 2.8 million. And I asked this lender I thought would be my partner in this journey that I'm doing now in life, if he would do my loan. $42,000 he wanted in closing costs. And I just thought that was crazy. So I reached out to Jason. He's doing the loan for $21,000 in closing costs. He's like, I don't even know what that guy was doing. He was totally blowing smoke. So you got to ask. Just ask for what you want, whether it's out of the universe or the person sitting next door. And then last night I was going to the hockey game, and I know Jeff says yes to all of you. I was going to the hockey game and I said to Jeff, I'm going to miss a deadline on a form for a house that we're personally selling. Can you please go to DocuSign, put in signatures, send it to me so my husband and I could sign it and not miss the hockey game? And Jeff did that. So just keep asking people for what you want out of life. That is what I learned from my rejection challenge.
Are you better at rejection now?
Oh yeah, I don't care. It
Yeah.
doesn't hurt me if you say no.
I mean, when she when she called me and she said, "Hey, I've got a full price offer at 1.2. I'm going to ask him for 1.6." It's like, you're freaking insane. What if I was the buyer's agent? I would be telling her where she could go, right? I mean, it's listed at 1.2. I'm giving you a full price offer and you're asking for $400,000 more, right? I would be like, no, that's not even a thing. Lisa's like, no, I'm totally asking. I'm like, okay. Like, okay, you ask him, you see how that goes. I think you're going to get rejected big time.
Yes.
But no, she got it. It was absolutely insane. So
Close in April.
pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. So anyhow, lesson on this is not necessarily rejection, although it is, right? This is an awesome book and an awesome concept. But the real lesson on this is when you have a fear of something, it's usually not founded in anything. So if you go out and work on it, you can usually overcome it fairly easily, and your success will skyrocket if you do that. All right. Okay, so on your calendar, first and foremost, March 31st, make sure and put this down, 10 a.m. This is our Agent Appreciation and Awards. It's an agent appreciation first and foremost. We'll have a nice breakfast there and some swag and some other things. Some great speakers. Don will sing and dance probably. I don't know what he's going to do. But in any case, it's always a fun time. We have all the agents from Northern Utah there, and we'll present awards at that as well. So if you're going to come, please RSVP so we know how many to plan for. That's March 31st at 10 a.m. So plan to be there. And that's at the Miller Conference Center. That's just across the freeway I-15 from the Salt Lake Board of Realtors. So just on the other side to the west is where you want to be on that. Second, Fathom Learning Labs. So every Monday here in the Orem office, we set up tables, bring your laptops. Don teaches about something. He's taught about the Verus Title app. He's taught about websites. Last week, I think the week before he taught about carousels. Last week, what did he teach about last week? Websites again? Yeah. So every week he has something different, and it's pull your laptops out and actually work on it kind of stuff. And so that's great. So bring your laptops 11 to 12:30 every Monday right here in this office. And then as most of you know, if you're looking for business, this coaching from Coach Wally has been phenomenal. And it's put on by Encompass Lending. And so this coming Thursday, so tomorrow at 11 a.m. our time, don't get confused because the announcement says 10 a.m., but it's Pacific time. So 11 a.m. our time online on Zoom. If you need that Zoom link, reach out. We'll make sure you get it. You should have it in your email though, but we'll email it out again so that you've got it. That's talking about how to acquire leads and how to close leads, how to get more deals. So it's been really great coaching, some really good information. Wally's not exactly like a dynamic presenter like Don is, right? He's more along my lines, but he does provide good information. Barb?
If you missed one of the ones in the past, how do you watch the replay?
Yeah, Jason.
They're creating, Fathom Business Systems is creating a website where all the recorded, because they record them all, where they'll have them all up there. But if you want the other two, I can reach out and have them send me a copy, then I can give it to you. So that you have the other two events as well. And there will be more in March. It's going to be an ongoing thing that Encompass and Verus is sponsoring for you guys. So any of the ones that you've missed, until that website is live. I just got told last week they approved it to get going, the layout. So it should be coming any day now, but I can get you a copy of those recordings for you.
So email Jason or email me and I'll email Jason or whatever, but we'll get it to you. So if you want it, just let us know. A couple quick fire things. Number one, client appreciation pool parties are coming up. If you guys are interested in being part of that, let us know right away. July 16th and August 8th are the two dates that we currently have. If you have a preference, first come, first serve as far as when you're in on that. So let Maya know that you want to be a part of it. It usually costs significantly below $200 a person. And the more agents that join, the lower that cost is. It's a great thing for new agents because people don't know how many of the 1,000 people there are your clients versus somebody else's. And so it makes you look more successful than maybe you really are. But either way, it's an awesome opportunity for you to get to know your clients, to give them something free. And even if they don't come, just a reason to reach out and have the conversation. I tell the story every year. I honestly don't want my clients to come to the pool party. Like, I would prefer they tell me no. I just want to be able to reach out and have a conversation with them about the pool party. And I hope that they don't come so I don't have to talk to them there, right? But that's me and my personality. Like, Lisa wants them all there so she can have like a whole forum and like talk. But for me, this is like just an opportunity to reach out.
Summit next year, we embarrassed Jeff so much. It was so much fun for the people who were around him.
Always fun. Always fun being with Lisa. Lisa's banned from Summit from now on, I think. So. Reminder, I get this a ton from our agents and other agents. I call you and I get your voicemails full. Go in and make some room, guys. We need to be able to have the ability to do that, to leave you messages. And so please clean out your voicemail. And in addition, I still get this. Even after last month when I announced it, I still get, "Hi, this is Jeff Larson with Equity Real Estate." And I'm like, "Dude, you've been with us for like 6 months or a year and a half or 5 years. Make sure your voicemail is correct on what you've got in there." And then lastly, under Quickfire, if you've got a new phone and you haven't backed up your contacts or your computer crashes or whatever, reminder just to back up your data. Super important, especially because you do have a requirement to keep all of your documents for the division for how long?
7 years.
4 years.
29 years. Forever.
So the correct answer lies kind of between these two answers, 3 and 4, right? So it's 3 full calendar years, which means if I close a deal today, I have to keep it for this year, but then 3 full calendar years, right? So keep them for 4 just to be safe, but that is your requirement. As a brokerage, we do keep them and we'll try to help you, but if for some reason we had a data crash and the division came after you, it's on you. They won't care that we don't have it, right? Well, they will, but you'll still get fined. So make sure to back up your data, make sure and keep all those files all those offers, all the rejected offers, like everything that you touch, you need to make sure you've got a copy of it somewhere. I suggest that you keep it in the cloud, in a Dropbox or something like that, and on a hard drive at your home. So you've got twice the protection there. If you need help with that, I can help. All right, let's talk market, guys. So this is going to be a lot of stats. I apologize, but it's actually some really good stuff. And the first thing I want to start with is the production for January. So I was talking about, we do have agents that are super successful in this office, regardless of the market. And these are those agents right now. So by volume, that's by dollar volume closed, and by transactions, number of transactions, these were our top agents for last month. Tim Reynolds was at the top for volume, and Cynthia Golpe was at the top for transactions. All of these people on this list, fantastic agents. If you ever want to talk to them or want to pick their brains, they're happy to do so. So reach out to them as needed. Yes. Just you. It's going to take you a whole year. Every month I'm going to show it, so you have an opportunity to be there next month. So
That's a monthly?
yeah, this is just January. So I'll show every month. So whoever closed the most nope, this is just January 2025. So these are the closings for January 2025. I'll do February, March, April, all the way through. All right, so this is number of months supply of housing inventory for the United States. Going back to 2018, we're currently at a 6-year high. So this is us, our inventory for the nation. We're currently sitting at a 6-year high for inventory. Interestingly, Todd Telford shared a stat with me that it's Texas and Florida that have 30% of the listings in the United States, just those 2 states, 30% of the listings. So those 2 markets have a ton of inventory. Ours isn't quite as high, but still pretty high. So in January, this is a stat from Utah Real Estate. In January, there were 9,300 listings, active listings. That's the highest number for the past 10 years. So going back 10 years, we haven't had that much in January, and it's up 24% from 2024 January. That's a huge jump of active listings. This stat I'm pulling up because I had a conversation with Todd and he opened my eyes to this one. Our actives as of today, like as of about 2 hours ago when I pulled it, was 9,600 listings. Of those, active listings that are 60 days or less on market is 5,100. We've got 4,500 that have been sitting 60 days or longer. So we've actually got quite a bit of inventory, almost half of our inventory that's kind of that stagnant inventory, right? It's inventory that's just kind of hanging around. Mostly sellers who think that we're still in the COVID market and have their listings priced fairly high. And so it's not moving. And so while it seems like we have a lot of listings at 9,600, it may be that we're slower than we are because we're not really getting a lot of move through all of those listings, if that makes sense. This is from Lawrence Yoon, who's the chief economist over NAR. He presented at a housing summit in Salt Lake City just a week ago. And so these stats all come from him. This is existing home sales, and this has been 2 of the most challenging years for a while. You can see we're down just over 4 million in total sales across the United States. This is home price gains, so amount of the pricing gains since our COVID years, since 2020 Q1. So you can see that in Utah, we're at 58.9%. So if you owned a home, if you bought a home in 2020 for $400,000, that same home is now worth $630,000. That's $230,000 in equity since 2020. It's a huge jump, like a massive jump. And there are we have a lot of sellers in this boat, or owners in this boat. They're not necessarily sellers, owners in this boat where they've got a lot of equity sitting in their homes, okay? This one was super interesting coming from him. This is the difference between the net worth of an individual that rents and the net worth of an individual that owns a home. And this is the disparity gap between those. So you can see in every year, the gap is massive, but in 2024, the average renter had a net worth of $10,000, whereas the average homeowner had a net worth of $415,000. That's a massive difference in net worth. And so if you need to talk to your clients who are renters and give them a reason why they should be buying regardless of what this market looks like, that's the reason, because total net worth is massively different when you own a home. This is breakdown of mortgage rates across the United States. So 88 million homeowners who have a home. 35% of them have no mortgage. 11.6 have less than 3% on their loan, and 18.5 have a rate between 3 and 4%. So that is 65.3% of households that have a rate between 0 and 4. So only 35% have, or 35% have a rate above 4%. You're wondering why people aren't moving? That's part of it, right? But backing up just a little bit, that 35% is where you should really be targeting, right? Those people have no mortgage. Those people can move at any point in time, right? They're not stuck because of rate.
Well, would that group probably be more so the seniors that the home's paid off and now they're downsizing too?
Yeah, you've got a lot of that, right? Where they've already got their home paid off. They own a big home. They're now empty nesters. It's time for them to move. They don't have an interest rate that they need to match, so they can more easily purchase in this market. It's a great group of people to go after, right? And then this is Lawrence's nationwide forecast for the next 2 years. So he says that overall existing home sales will be up 9% this year, 13% next. Median home price will only go up 2%. I would like to see that hold. I hope that we see not a massive increase in prices or even more really than 2%, because it really does hurt us. And he believes that we'll be somewhere near 6% on mortgage rates. I don't know if we'll get close to that. Jason, any crystal ball?
Depends on what because right now the bond market's kind of for the last week's been doing good, which is good for rates.
Mhm.
So it really depends on the next 6 months with everything that's going on with the policies of the presidency right now. Because if they believe in the bonds and people are buying bonds, rates are gonna go down. And I've noticed it's slightly going down right now. So I still think the rest of the year, we're still gonna be in the sixes. I think 2026, we may be dipping into the fives is my personal opinion.
Okay, you've all heard it. We're holding Jason to that.
I did preface by saying my personal opinion.
All right, I've got more stats to go through, but we're going to take a break because I know probably overwhelming you, and we're going to give our sponsors. You've got a great lunch back here for afterwards. And so Mike Thompson from Brick to Batten, he's actually my preferred inspector. He's awesome. But I'll give Jason, or not Jason, I'll give Mike just a minute to talk. And it's the two bearded guys. I can't tell them apart.
Here's the roll. All right. So yeah, I'm Mike Thompson with Brick to Batten Home Inspections. I'm actually the owner of it. I started this business a little over a year ago. I kind of came to Jeff, said, hey, this is what's going on. I'm going to start my own. It's been
But
great.
that said, he was with an inspector before
Yes.
for a number of years that I was using. And when he broke off on his own, because of the way that he dealt with that, that's why I used him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I was with that other company for 7 years. Okay. So I've got nearly 10 years in the inspection field, and I've got 10 plus years in construction as well. So I've pretty much seen it all. Okay. I offer new home inspections. So 4 ways, brand new homes. If they tell you don't need an inspection, you need an inspection. Okay. Existing homes, I do those, warranty inspections. I mean, the list goes on and on. Multi-units, I kind of do all of it. So, and as Jeff said, I've been around a long time, got a pretty good reputation, I think, in the valley here as being honest, and, you know, I don't scare buyers. So also I'm an agent, so I know how you guys talk. I know the things that you guys need to know. I know what's important to you guys. So I can kind of help out that way as well. You are welcome to book inspections on the website, brick2batten.com. If you do book your inspections on there, I will knock off $40 off of the price. And that's because sometimes I'm in a crawl space and it's easier if you're scheduling it for me. So help me out a little bit. I am asking for your business. Okay. That's a very hard thing for me to do. I don't do well with rejection either, like Lisa talked about earlier. Standing in front of a bunch of people, if you'd have known me 25 years ago, I would be terrified to be standing up here. So I've learned a lot. So yeah, so I would love to have your inspections. Please give me a try. Like I said, if you schedule it online, I will give you that $40 discount right off the top. Yes, Shelley.
So you're very thorough. Great. I would have no hesitation hiring you.
Well, thank you, Shelley. Yes.
New constructions. Do you find if the builder is faced with an inspection, they'll be more likely to get those details done?
Usually they don't like inspectors to come in at all. There's a couple of builders out there that won't even let me blue tape. DR Horton and Lennar, that's a new one. They won't let me tape, but they still allow me to come in, look around, take pictures, talk about the property, talk about what's needed. I find all kinds of things wrong with new construction. Insulation missing, plumbing done backwards. I mean, I find all kinds of stuff. Just 2 weeks ago, I did it's actually 2 years old, the house. It had all kinds of electrical issues in Spanish Fork. You know, 2 years old. It was a brand new construction home that they built. So electrical was all messed up. I did a new property up in Lehigh. That was an Ivory Homes one, brand new. The sewer line was not connected properly going from the interior to the exterior of the house. So that would have resulted in a sewer damage in the basement. So it's definitely worth doing those new home inspections. So I know the builders are doing a lot of incentives right now on those. They're trying to move their inventory. So I would definitely do the inspections on those. Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay,
Awesome. Thanks.
great. Thank you, Jeff. And then lunch, I got that for you guys.
Yeah. Afterwards. Davis is here with Knoll Videography, and so we'll give Davis 2 or 3 minutes. He's gonna have to whiz through his slides because I think he's got a bunch.
Should I hold the microphone as well?
Yes, please. Yeah, they can't hear in here, but it helps for Zoom. So.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm super happy to be here. My name's Davis Knoll. I'm 21 years old. I'm a student at the Y. I study civil engineering. I'm from Southern California. I returned home from my mission back in June of last year. I'm recently engaged and I'm getting married in the Payson Temple in May. So I hope that's enough about me. If you have more questions, I'd be happy to answer later, but it's a story I'm sure you've heard hundreds of times. But the
There's a
reason that
lot
I'm
of fair housing violation in that, so I'm not.
I apologize. That's true. There's a lot of fair housing. I'm not a realtor either, so I'm learning new vocab. Hope I didn't violate all the rules in introducing myself, but I really am grateful to be here today. And I'm grateful especially for Todd. He was the realtor for my father. He just purchased a condo right off the south of campus, and Todd was awesome and then gave me this chance to come in and speak to you all today. So I'm really grateful to be here. The reason I'm here is to talk about real estate videography. And really, truly what that means is I'm super passionate about making videos that my clients love. I'm really, that's what brings me joy. Since I was a kid, I've made videos. Through high school, I made videos for 5 years. I've been what I call a videographer. And for 3 years, really, I've been doing freelance and been working for people in this video area, what area of life. And I want to be part of your team. I want to help you to sell your listings faster. As you all know, that's a big deal. You don't want to hold on to those properties for very long. So let's talk a little bit about it. If I'm understanding right, as a realtor, your job is to get people interested in the property or the listing, get them to buy it, and to do it before someone else will. So that's why I wrote down these kind of 3 standard points. Why make a video? Because listings with videos, according to research, receive about 400% more inquiries compared to those that do not. Second, you're going to sell your listings faster. As you're casting that wider net and allowing people who aren't even near to your property, they can see it and get interested in it without having to come see it, or without having to look at a photo that's like this big and super grainy online, which happens a lot. That can turn away a lot of potential buyers. And third, it's to overcome your competition, because despite the clear benefits of having video marketing for your listings, only about 9% of real estate agents actually use this as ammunition to sell. So I'm going to show a little video that I actually made recently of a home. It's just an example. But what you got to remember too is every home is different. Every property is different. Some of them are, I forget what yours was called, it was like a triple something. And I'm learning a lot today. They're all very different and they're very unique. So not every video is going to look the same and not every property has the same needs. But here's just one example. Hopefully it will play all the way through.
That looks like Bill's home.
It is.
Bill Telford's.
Yep.
Is it Bill's home?
Yes, that's Bill's home. That's his house in his backyard, and it's right next to a nice little pond. Beautiful home. Can you add music to the video, or is there music playing that I just can't hear?
It's playing, you
There
just
is
can't
music
hear it.
playing. You just can't hear it.
Yeah, the speaker's like actually up on top of the.
Okay, so that's just one example of a video. And as I said, these are really unique to each listing. So they could be longer, shorter. And here I'm going to talk about just a few types of videos, but really all of it's customizable. So 3 examples that I wanted to bring today is an example of, or the idea of a guided tour, which would be, I'm sure you've seen the realtor themselves actually walk you through the house, right? They've got a microphone, they've got a cameraman following them. This is the kitchen, this is the backyard, this is this. And you have that option to show off all the best parts of your property. Second, there's a standard walkthrough is what I'd call it. And that's the video we just watched, where it's no talking, just you see the beauty of the home, the beauty of the land. You've got drone shot, everything going through. And third, although the statistics don't necessarily apply to photos, photos are still pretty effective. And I'm hireable for that as well. A typical video on, let's call it a typical home or a typical listing, would range, depending on what we decide in the details of the video, anywhere between $250 to $500. So not real expensive to show off that listing and to show everybody who clicks on it what's really inside before they even schedule to come out and see it in person. So I'd love to spend all day talking about this. I really love video, but there's tons more to talk about. So I'm going to open up just for 1 minute about questions, if anybody's got great questions. And then I actually have my business card here with a scanner to my website, and then how you can contact me. Feel free to text, call. It's fine. You can mention religion over the phone. I won't fine you or whatever the rules are. I'm open to a phone call, to an email, or anything. And then I had no idea there were going to be 33 of you. So I printed out 15 like frequently asked questions, and then I responded to them also, just in case we don't get to all of them. If you would like a copy of this but didn't get one physically today, please email me or call me or text me or give me your address. I'll bring it to you. This is really important to me. So, okay, that sounds perfect. And then I'll hand these out right when I finish. Any questions? Yes.
Video, when you just showed, is there any issue as far as loading that on the MLS for capacity? I mean, that seems like that was a pretty big file.
That's a great question. So we can make the file huge and full scale, or we can bring it down a little bit and scale so that it will fit, right? If there's a certain limit, like you can only post 1 gigabyte file, we'll make it fit that.
You know what you have to do?
Yeah, so the MLS doesn't actually store any files as far as video. It's all linked off of a separate site. And so wherever it's hosted by Davis, that's where you would link to.
Absolutely. And we'll make that work for you. Yes. Virtual staging is not something that you mean like
adding virtual furniture into a house that's vacant.
Yeah. I understand that. That is something I will look into. I've never done it yet, but that does not mean it's not doable. And I would be happy to look into that. Thank you. Was there another question, another hand somewhere? I do. Yeah, I'm one-man show. I'm the videographer that will show up. I will video it all for you. I will do the editing and bring it back to you. The turnaround, that's exactly what I was hoping you'd ask. The turnaround, I understand, needs to be very fast. So a turnaround for video like this, you could get it as soon as the next day and no later than 4 days after filming. That's my claim to you, because I understand how important that is to have it quickly.
Okay. Thanks, Davis.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And should I hang on to these and then just get them on?
Yeah, just after is great.
Absolutely. Anything you need. Post it to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, your websites. I will give them to you in whatever file you need. And if you need me to figure out how to post it for you, I can do that too. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, I know vendors is always a fun topic. Just know that we support the people that you support, right? So like Davis comes in from Todd, Mike comes in from me and a couple of other agents. And so if you have great vendors that you love and want to support us as much as we want to support them, then we're happy to have them in office. So just reach out to me and Maya. We'll make sure that we get the right vendors in. All right, let's talk a little bit more about stats. We're going to talk about new construction next. These new construction stats are from just this month. And so housing starts fell almost 9% month over month from December to January. 7.6% increase in completions. So number of houses completed by new construction between December and January. Builder confidence. So the builder confidence in the market dropped 5 points in February. And why did it drop? Because they're concerned about labor shortages, number one, material costs and rates, right? And the reason they're concerned about labor costs is builders have greater than, we believe, greater than 13% of unauthorized immigrant workers, okay? 26% of builders lowered their prices in February, and 13% expect an expectation of new construction dropped 13%. So we see a 13% drop in that expectation of what we think we're going to sell in 2025. So overall, builder confidence is fairly low. It's lower than it has been in a while. They're trying to move through inventory. We're seeing a lot of incentives. In many cases, new construction is cheaper than existing right now, which is a weird place to be, right? But it's absolutely true with the number of incentives, the money buy down, the rate buy down, all those kind of things. So something that you definitely should be looking into. Stats from real estate, utahrealestate.com. These are January 2025 stats. Some really interesting stuff here. Median days on market from last month went from 44 to 49 days on market in January. So up almost 5 days on median days on market. Number of homes sold was down 6.8% from last year. So last year we sold almost 7% more homes in January than we did this year. And then the residential inventory. So total inventory from last year was 3,776 added listings in January. This January, we added 4,400 listings. So quite a bit more inventory added there. And lastly, median home price. Median home price is up from last year. So we're up 3% from January of last year. So overall, this is a crazy dynamic, right? I've got median days on market, so houses are sitting longer, right? I've got homes sold down, so number of homes being sold is down. You've got longer on market, less homes being sold, inventory on the rise, so we've got a lot more inventory on the market, yet the prices are up.
Buyers might lock it then, but just.
That's my question. So my question to you is, after everything that I've just shown you, builders and national stats and Utah stats, what market are we in?
You say that the price is up, but what percent of, if you took out sellers' commissions, is the price really up?
I don't know what you're asking.
So you say that the sales price is up, but how many of those have seller commissions and they're building?
Same number as they did in January of last year, right? It's Utah Real Estate Stats. So we take all sold data from Utah Real Estate year over year.
Commission,
Seller concessions. So seller concessions only factors in, and seller concessions has nothing to do with sold price. They just take the sold price regardless of seller concessions. Possibly, but I guarantee you that a year ago we had just as many seller concessions.
Well, and there's not going to be any probably more concessions now than there were a year ago. So it'll be equal.
Pretty much equal. So what market are we in? Yeah, go ahead.
I just always go to the MLS, do a data dump into Excel, create a column, and track all of that and look at the difference. One thing I'm always curious about, especially when we're talking to sellers. Yes, it takes 49 days. The question is, why does it take 49 days? Well, because right now it takes about 40 days for the seller to realize it ain't going to sell at that price. And you can go back look at the listing, look at, when you're doing your chart, you can see on an Excel spreadsheet, the ones that sell quickly don't have a graph that shows that their price decreases. They've been bringing the price down. You can see that, and then you can see how many days it's been on market. The ones that are shorter, they're coming in here. Then when you do a comparison as per the square footage, and you're taking out, you're reducing it to a commodity, then all of a sudden you start to see what really is happening. So it'll take you 40 days to come to the conclusion of where you're at, but it'll probably need to be lowered. In this market, that's probably what's going to happen. And so it depends on who that seller is as to what they want to hear. But you can see the graphs and the charts that showed you. Also concession, when you're looking at the homes of what they sold for, what they listed for, how many days it were on market, you can see another column that shows the amount of concessions that they gave and build that back into, well, that's what they had to do. And then the last piece, you can do it by month, you can do it for the whole year.
Sure.
And you probably know, you can see the chart, you can see exactly where that's supposed to be. It works good when you have an economical buyer, a data person, does very little. That's why my wife gets involved with the emotional seller. Oh, it's about the pillows, right? It's about how it looks. Well,
Some of it. Yeah, go ahead.
Like Utah, it's the we have the demand, we have buyers, we have a lot of sellers. It's the affordability that we are having a hard time.
So where does affordability fit into the equation? The buyer side or the seller side?
buyers.
I mean, the buyer has to make more money, right? The seller needs to come to the market. So you've got both sides that are stuck on this, because the sellers, per Brad's point, the sellers they're not moving, right? They're not understanding that there's an affordability issue. Buyers are trying to find more money to be able to afford things. They're going to lenders and asking for better rates. They're going to builders and asking for better rates. They're trying to get raises, like they're trying to make it work. But overall, we've got sellers stuck in 2021, 22, where they think they can get whatever price they ask for, and it's just not happening, right? And so we've got this weird market where the supply and demand curve really should be more of a buyer's market than it currently is, but sellers haven't come to the thinking of, we need to be a buyer's market, and we need to lower our prices, and we need to adjust according to affordability. This is a discussion that you really should be having with your clients, both on the buy side and the sell side, so that they're aware of this crazy dynamic that we have right now, right? And then mix into that all of those sellers that I showed you that are sitting on a 2 or 3% interest rate that aren't going to move anywhere. They're just going to sit on that forever. And that dynamic mixed in there makes this probably the weirdest market that we've had ever, right? It's just a crazy market. Maybe.
Buyer or you're not? You mean you're a seller or you're not?
All right, let me run through some real estate news real quick. This is a study by Zillow. Zillow is basically backing up what we already knew. This study showed that listings that are sold off the MLS sold for almost $1 billion less than they would have sold if they were on the MLS. So you combine all of those together, about $1 billion lost for sale by owners or off-market properties. It's a huge amount, yeah. So we've always known this. The studies from NAR have shown over and over again that the for sale by owners lose money on this. Honestly, the reason that I believe, and somebody will probably tell me I'm wrong because I often usually am, I believe that the reason comes down to negotiation. Whenever I'm up against a for sale by owner, I can take them to the cleaners. I mean, they have no idea how to negotiate, what they should be paying, what they shouldn't be paying, what concessions, like all of that. It's so easy to negotiate against them. And so that's another value add for you guys as realtors that you should be talking about. Last month, we talked about this. So if you remember, I'll quickly recap. Phoenix Realtor Association had started what's called MLS of Choice. MLS of Choice allowed someone who is not a member of the board, so not a member of the Phoenix Association of Realtors or the NAR, to purchase an MLS product that allowed them to be on the MLS without being a member of the board. Currently here in Utah, you can't do that, right? In most areas, well, in all areas, you can't do that. You have to be a member of the board to have MLS access, right? And Phoenix started to say, nope, we're going to allow people to do this. NAR came back and sued them. Well, didn't sue them. They threatened to take away their charter, right? They said, we're going to remove your charter as an association. And so NAR won. Phoenix has withdrawn their MLS of choice. And you now still have to be a member of an association to be part of that MLS down there. There are still a number of lawsuits against NAR from a brokerage, and an agent, and from a brokerage agent and an MLS, I think. I can't remember the third one. That they're suing because they basically say this is a racket where you have to belong to each of these 3 associations to even have MLS access. And so we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, things don't look like they're changing. If you want MLS access, you have to be a member of NAR, right? Yeah.
In Utah, we have a couple of brokerages where people can list with that brokerage, but the owner is still the one representing themselves. They just pay the brokerage, like Intermountain Properties, they pay them $300. They get on the MLS. But the agent's not the one who's actually dealing with the listing. The owner is. Why is that legal or allowed?
Because it's disclosed to the owner or the seller as to what services are going to be paid for at that point in time.
Because
so an
it's
agreement is,
that
yeah, I go to you and I say, hey, look, I'm happy to do this. This is the services that you're going to get. This is what you're not going to get from me. Now, there are certain services like the fiduciary duties that still have to be followed by every realtor. But as far as service level, they can be different, right?
Because
So
thing, because you can just list on the MLS.
that's, yeah, those are 2 totally separate things. But yeah, you still can list on the MLS. They still, yeah, Intermountain Properties is still a realtor. They still belong to the association. They still list on the MLS. So it's 2 totally different things. I can walk you through that if you've still got questions about it. So this was one that just came through February 17th. Super interesting read. If you guys have time, I'll try to send this out in a link on my Friday update video. This woman showed how her property was basically taken, sold. It was a vacant piece of vacant land, sold. And years later, this woman came back to pay her property tax and found out that it had been sold to someone else and someone else owned it. Without her knowledge whatsoever as the owner of the property. Now, this is happening all the time, guys. I probably get 2 or 3 calls a week from you as agents saying, hey, somebody just reached out to me, said they want to list a property up in Park City. It's a vacant piece of land. They want to sell it pretty quickly. Is this a scam? 99.9 times out of 10 or 100, it's going to be a scam, right? Especially if you ever get the words WhatsApp, just ignore it and move on. Like they want to move you to WhatsApp almost immediately. But what other ways do we have that we can protect these property owners? Scott's here and from Verus Title. He's going to talk to us a little bit about how you can protect yourselves as agents from these scams because they're huge and they're massive, and also how you can protect property owners. So Scott, floor is yours. I would assume not. Yeah. Yeah. You pretty much have to own it free and clear.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey, team. My name's Scott Gowdy. I'm with Verus Title. I joined Verus Title last year in June. I've been in the industry since 2014. I'm the operations manager at Verus Title. So as you see here, Jessica Jensen and Beth Jarrett, they're the escrow officers that you'll work with on your closings. You'll communicate with them. They'll handle all that. The only time you might see me, if it's ever needed, is I might be the notary in case their schedules don't allow them to be at the closing.
You want one?
We have offices in Utah, in South Jordan. We have an office in Lehigh and an office down in St. George. And as many of you know, Verus Title is nationwide. And so if you ever have a seller that's out of state, it's very likely that we can have your seller meet at one of the local Verus offices there. But, you know, in addition to the offices though, the big thing that we do for many of you, if needed, and if it helps you with your client, is we'll travel to your client, whether that be at their house or their office or whatever. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. I know it was talked about conversations today, and I'll just reiterate that. I mean, I encourage you to reach out to Beth and Jessica on a weekly basis and just talk to them. We're your partners. We want to help you, and we're here to answer your questions. Like was said previously, seller impersonation fraud is a big deal. A lot of it happens around vacant land, like Todd said. And there's some handouts that Maya's giving you. We'll email those to you as well. I'll just briefly kind of mention those. The big tool that Verus Title has that we just started using this month is called Certified. It's a seller fraud prevention tool. And we will be using this on every single closing. In addition to Certified, we have our software called Qualia Connect. Many of you are familiar with that already, but that is our secure portal that allows us to communicate and share information between us, you, and your client, and allows your client to share private personal information back. If there's ever any issue about privacy policy or all that, we'll give that to you. Verus Title's privacy policy certified. We're all subject to the Graham-Leach, bill, as far as privacy, all that. But with those tools, it allows us to prevent like what that happened in that news article where a seller was scammed through identity fraud. Certified is this tool that we use where we verify their email. Their system allows to be able to ping essentially where that IP address is coming from. If it's out of the country, many of these scammers use WhatsApp and they're out of the country impersonating someone here. And so this tool allows us to prevent that and stop that. They have to upload their ID. There's been hundreds of cases where, a fraudulent ID was presented. Certified allows us to upload that, goes through their system, and it can basically scan that barcode and see, okay, does this belong to the actual owner that said? Those handouts kind of give you an idea of what we at Verus are looking at when we're dealing with sellers, especially if it's vacant land, and especially if we know the seller's not going to attend closing, they're out of state. That's when you'll see this fraud occur many times, is the seller's not in the state where the property's located. The seller doesn't want to communicate with you phone. They only want to text you. They don't even want to do a video call. They're hard to get a hold of. They're wanting to push for a quick close. Many times if you're trying to list a property for a seller and they want to list it below market value, that's a red flag as well. And those are things that we at Verus Title will kind of work with you and ask, what information do you know? What communication have you had with the seller? If there's any pushback from the seller from not using Qualia Connect or Certified, I mean, that will cause concern for us, and we'll want to follow up with some question as to why. But those are tools that we use to help you and ultimately your client prevent identity fraud and wire fraud. And so we will use Certified also, just so you know, for those when you close with us, for your commissions. It's just a one-time thing that we'll verify if you have us wiring your commission at closing. We'll do the one-time verification on that first closing, and then we'll have it in our database, and you won't have to re-verify that. But again, just with the nature of fraud and seller impersonation, it's almost required, I would say, for the title company to have these such tools. And whether you're closing with Verus or InWest Title or Prospectors Title down the road, I mean, these handouts will help you know what to look for, what questions to ask, and confirm what the title company is doing to help prevent this. And so that's it. That's all I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Pleasure. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Will you do that when we're working on the listing, so we don't put a bunch of time into it?
Yeah, I mean, if you present to us,
I suspicious help you with this.
yeah, if you present to us the listing agreement and I mean, you have this.
Pre-listing before we do
Um,
a lot of work on it.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to know that we're doing the closing, and that's more for privacy policy. We can't be collecting information on people that we're not going to work with. But assuming that's in good faith, the process, and we're opening a title file, yes, we'll collect that. We will want to know the name, the phone number, and the email. Those are the three things we'll want in the pre-listing or listing process, because then we'll put that in Qualia Connect, and we have certain questions that will automatically go out to your client through email to say, hey, confirm your contact information. Please confirm if you're attending closing. I mean, that's the biggest thing for us. And if we know they're not attending closing, meaning that they're out of state or potentially leaving the country, then that will trigger certain questions for us to start that. That answers your question. So, yeah, great.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, just we'll whiz through this last part, but lead-based paint is a big one right now. EPA is actually out auditing different brokerages and whether or not they're successfully doing what they're supposed to do with lead-based paint. This is the part of the lead-based paint disclosure that we're required for properties prior to 1978. Number C says that the seller has attached to the disclosure the lead-based paint pamphlet. It's been attached to it and it's been delivered to them, right? To the buyer. That's part of your job. So not just delivering the lead-based paint disclosure, but also the pamphlet as well. Normally, how does that take place? As a listing agent, how do you normally deliver the lead-based paint disclosure? Tell them it's on the MLS, right? You say, go to the MLS, click the attachments button, and it's right there. Yeah, you can, right? But they can go and they can download the lead-based paint there. But the pamphlet 99, like I just looked at over 100 listings trying to find one for this class showing you that you can also upload the pamphlet. Nobody has it there, right? You need to start putting the pamphlet up when you're listing. So the pamphlet needs to be there. I would also tell you that you need to email that pamphlet to the buyer as soon as you're under contract, but put it in both places. Put it on the MLS and put it there. So that's the best practice. To find the pamphlet, you can go to IntelliAgent, resources, second page, and it's right there. You can also just Google it. EPA has it on their website. You can download it and send it. So be aware of that. This is from the EPA website. The EPA website says that before the home buyer signs a contract, so before they sign the rep C, that has to be delivered to them. They have to have that in their possession. Now, I don't know how they expect us to know that. If some buyer sends in a contract, I mean, what are you going to do? Say, no, sorry, you haven't included the lead-based paint. Please take this back and send me an offer when you've sent it. You could, but usually we just send it after. But best case scenario, you want to receive the lead-based paint disclosure signed by the buyer with the offer that you're receiving. Or you, as a buyer's agent, you want to send that over with the offer. You need to make sure that that happens. Talks about your responsibilities. Your responsibility is to retain documentation of the warning pamphlet for at least 3 years. So you have to be able to prove that you've sent it to the buyer. So if you sent it in an email, make sure you're backing up that email and have access to show that, yes, I actually sent it to the buyer.
So I've never done this, so I need to start doing this, but in like the transaction signature where it shows that they've received the documents.
So
we should do, put that pamphlet in there and they're signing, they're initialing that in that document.
On the buyer side?
Yeah. See.
Yeah, so transaction document receipt, you could certainly do that on the buyer side. But as a listing agent, I can only show that I delivered it, right? So I can show that I sent it to the buyer's agent. Sending it to the buyer's agent is the same as sending it to the buyer, right? So on both sides, make sure you're protected and show that you're delivering this lead-based paint pamphlet. We're going to hurry and play a quick game of The Price is Right. Okay, The Price is Right. What's the fine from the EPA without going over? What's the fine from the EPA if you don't do this?
Jail.
2,000, jail, 200, 500,
$11,000.
Oh,
$1.
way.
$1, Drew.
$11,000 per offense. And if they find one, I guarantee you they're going to dig into every one of your files.
But
right?
there,
And the top
there is a
amount-
cutoff, Jeff. It's only up to 200,000.
Yeah, only your max that you can pay is 200,000. So you are capped there. So you're safe. You only have to pay 200,000, right? So I'm sure the EPA does, right? All right. Lead gen ideas. So just to give you an idea, this property boost thing just started with the MLS. And so I ran it on one of my listings. It cost me $69 for 7 days. No, this is not free. So yeah. So it cost me $69 for 7 days. And I actually now have 6 leads. So my total cost per lead is about $10. If any of those leads were to generate though, well pays for itself, right? So I did not call those leads. I actually farmed them out to other agents in the brokerage. And so I don't know where any of those leads sit currently. So
It must be our listing.
it does have to be your listing to do the property boost through the MLS. Yes. Okay. But that's available. In addition to that, currently you can win up to 1 of 3 Amazon gift cards of $100 if you do a property boost between now and the 28th. So you got a few days left. And then here's a list of the upcoming classes. For sure, put on March 31st. Our online learning lab, or sorry, our learning labs Monday and Friday here on Mondays, Friday in Union Park. So those are all great. And this class, the class on March 5th, a lot of you have been asking for an Instagram, Facebook, social media class. So we have that coming up. It will be live and Zoomed. So make sure that you're here. Oh, Maya's going to tell me I'm wrong. What am I wrong about? Oh, well, there you go. None of this is correct. Don't write any of this down. I went off this. I don't know. Okay. So there you go. This is right. This is wrong. But in any case, the 19th is the social media class. So make sure you can come on the 19th. That will be a great one. That'll be a really good class. A lot of you have wanted that, and we finally found somebody who we think will teach a good class on that. All right, thanks for hanging in with us. There's lunch in the back. Make sure and grab some and then talk to each other and do some deals. Thanks, guys.